Hey guys, here we are with a video of the quads that you guys did last night. I'm only going to really do 2 games for this video, mainly because I want to do the other 6 games with you guys in person. And these 2 games I thought were very, very exciting. They pose some really good strengths and bad habits, I think, in all of them in these two. And just heads up, yeah, this one doesn't have a webcam because I'm on kind of a different computer right now. And yeah, here we go. So this is white, is one of you guys, and then black is someone from the quads. And here we go. Open up with e4. They open up with b6. Want to develop their light square bishop. Go d4. They go bishop b7. Go bishop d3. They go e6. Pretty much white has a very solid lead in activity or control of the center, and black's really just trying to develop their bishop, their black bishop, and trying to get control of the center but from very far away. After knight f3, c5, c3, strengthening the center. We go into d5, trying to claim the center. Go into e5. Go knight d7. Go bishop e3. Go knight to e7. Go knight d2. And go knight f5. And now here, I would think if I was playing this position, I think I would play maybe not knight d2. I still think it's an okay move, and there's nothing like that bad about it. But weirdly enough, I honestly may think about playing h4 or g4 here. Just off first glance, I really like h4, and the main reason is that I'm mainly going to be attacking their king side. Of course, there's a chance that they're going to castle queen, but even if they castle queen, I'm going to have pressure on h7. I'm potentially thinking of knight g5 ideas, and one other reason that we'll see, if we go all the way back, what happens in the game is we get knight d2, right? And after knight f5, basically, the question here is I don't really like that they have pressure on my e3 bishop. And with knight d2, I don't really have any escape squares to c1 or d2. And I would think that maybe f4 works, right? And if we go all the way back here a little bit earlier, if we do h4 instead of knight d2, the other thing I really like about it is I want bishop f4, right? If they go knight f5, I get bishop f4 in. I have a potential escape square with my bishop. Now they don't really have knight h4 ideas really per se, with their queen and bishop potentially looking at it, because I've played h4, I've put a pawn on it. And I still think I'm going to get knight d2 in, like now, and I think it's okay. Now after here, I think maybe this is a potentially not a positional move. We play g4. And I only say that because we lose this e3 pawn, and it's not even that we double up, it's that our king is kind of awkward. And if they close the position somehow, it's really not an easy way to break with white. Of course, there's ideas too with like e4, but this is still maybe not the most pleasant position to go in. So potentially instead of g4, we just go bishop f4, and I still think we have our lead in development. We're being a little bit flexible with our kingside pawns, and yeah. And really, the only thing I really wanted to pinpoint about this is just the main tip of instead of g4, potentially h4 is more of a pawn that you can just kind of give. And it's really hard for them to prove that it's overextended more than like the g4 pawn. One thing I really like though after this take on e3 is I feel like white plays this like really well, because basically you want to look at your pawn breaks, right, and you want to look at your opponent's pawn breaks, and I feel like they have control of that very well. We know that they're potentially going for h6, g5, so we go h4 ourselves, and after that, right, doesn't white just have the idea of pawn breaks? And that's how I think white really plays this. They go queen e2, and they're all going for this e4 pawn. And black's really having to struggle to develop with their pieces. After c4, we go bishop c2. We still have e4 coming. And after queen c7, their pieces are very closed in, while our pieces at least have some sight on the king side, and we have e4. Great move, even though it's like, potentially I think it wanted to maybe prepare it more with g5, but, wait, no, I think it was it g5 here? And then take, sorry, I didn't look fully into these lines. Yeah, then you go like queen g2 nonsense. And the idea is, of course, they can't go g4. And if they go gx e4, now we have pressure on their rook more. But that's very hard to see. And I actually do just like e4 right away. It makes sense, and I do think it's a good way that you create a plan of queen e2, h4, e4. And after they play b5, we take, and we try to what I really like about this is we're trying to get their most active piece out of the game. So we basically have the more active pieces of our queen and two knights, while their bishop has seen dirt, and their knight really isn't at the best place right now. So that's why they go knight b6, we go king f2, they go rook d8, we go g5, they go hx, they go king d7, and weirdly they're actually in a position where it's not as hard to attack their king as it looks, or it's harder to attack their king than it looks. I do think we play it very well. We kind of play, rook g1. We basically just want to pose questions along having control of these files, and then they go knight a4, and I think they crack a little bit with this move, because basically they could really just play like how we're playing and go rook df8, protect the files, or even queen c6, potentially attack this. But knight a4 kind of cracks because after bishop take d5, ex d5, we potentially have like rook take, and knight f1. And if we get our knight all the way to like f5, or let's have a series of trade here, or let's do the knight f1 line because this is really nice. We're protecting the b2 pawn, and after like something like queen c6, knight e3, we just have so much pressure with these knights, and really it looks like they can break in, but they really can't. And after that, it's just very, very hard to play. We may even get knight g2, knight here, and then do like e6 here. It's, very hard to play for black. But instead, after bishop x, we do a very confusing move. I like it at first glance, but I do think it's maybe a little bit too much to go for. We go e6, and the only reason I say it's too much to go for is because basically they do have to tiptoe, right? They have to find the only good move. If they go like king c8, we do rook 8, rook take, we just win a pawn, right? If they do many other moves, we're just going to be, up a pawn or have their king in a very bad location. But if they do the one move that you first look at, fx e6, it still kind of keeps equality. It's not that easy to attack. The first line that I want to play is knight e5, right? But this doesn't actually do anything. After king c8, we don't have knight f7 because queen f4. They don't have queen f3 because we take. So we know that doesn't work. And if we know knight e5 doesn't really work, then, let's look at the other attacking line, right? Let's look at rook e1, and we're attacking this really weak e6 pawn. They go queen b6, and surprisingly, their pieces are becoming more active, while they're still even though they look like I would rather play this as white, they're somehow surviving in a way that's like not as well, right? And this would probably continue in a game where it's very double-edged for both. But yeah, after e6, they play a very bad move. They play king c6, and it does white's one of their major strengths is they really know how to convert an advantage and show the strengths of a certain position positionally. Like they show how strong knight e5 is now because it's way different. We win a pawn. We don't really have their queen or their king in the safer locations that they were in before. And we just win a straight pawn. I mean, that's also just very factual. And after this, even though they win a pawn back, their knight is very misplaced. And after we go here, just develop another piece. They go here. We convert very nice. We just win a pawn. and they really don't have much here. They go queen f4, but this loses to a lot of queen checks. Queen x b5, queen a5. Very clinical, very good strength of them, and yes, they. I think it either just no. I think they maybe went into time control here, but yeah, White's completely winning, and White did win this game. Oh no, one more series of moves, and then yeah, here. This is where the notation ended. If you want to show it to the rest of the class how you finished it, yeah, that'd be awesome. But yeah, very, very nice game from White. Maybe you can find the main 7, kind of a crazy mate in 7, but yeah, good game from White. And yeah, let's do the second game. Okay, this is between 2 of you guys, and I actually really like this game because I really do think it highlights some of your guys' strengths and habits. So let's start. Go e4, go e5, go knight f3, go knight c6, go bishop c4, go knight f6. Both of you guys are very strong in the Italian game. I've seen you both play it as black and white, and I think you play it very well. We go knight c3. And yeah, black really likes this line. I actually would play this as black earlier when I played chess, and I really do like it as black. Basically, you're posing that after knight x e4, I go d5, and I basically win my piece back. And it's very active. I think black basically already equalizes, and you have to kind of tippy-toe as white here. When I was black, I was always happy when we did the move in the game, which is bishop x d5. This is a mistake. Only reason because the queen gets active, and it's very hard to play this for white. Yes, I can go something like knight c3, but I can either go like queen a5 or queen c5, and I just have my queen very active. It's very hard for them to show their activity. While if we go all the way back, there's one cool move here that doesn't look like it works, but it is the best move. It's just bishop d3. And the reason why is we know we're going to lose our piece back, right? We know we're either going to lose the bishop or the knight. Surprisingly, the bishop is just stronger in this kind of scenario. And the reason why is after dx e4 and bishop x c4, they don't really have moves that we can really, like easy moves that they can find like automatically. They have to create a plan. Because let's say they do something like, I don't know, like bishop c5. We can just castle, but there was one line I think I was looking at earlier where it was they couldn't go what was it? Bishop e7? Anyways, it was some pressure where we have this pressure on c6, and the idea is yes, they can't go b6 or bishop e7 because we're putting pressure on c6. And it's not exactly, again, easy to show that we have, like, you know, a clear advantage as black. But this is just dead equal. It's just, if we go into this scenario, it's way different because their queen is very active. Let's go forward. So yeah, we show this d3. Yeah, maybe a better line here would have been the knight c3 line, just in that we put a tempo on the queen. Even though their queen is still very active, unlike c5, a5, or d6, at least our knight isn't awkward on e4 and being supported just by a d3. But yeah, so we continue. I really like this from black. This is a very strong play. Basically, we're putting pressure on this f3 knight, pinning this queen, and they're just really trying to develop as much as possible. There's one more thing I liked about this move, is that we're basically, you know, saying, hey, we may castle queen. And I think that's a very nice active play from black, and kind of showing how they're developing with activity and threats. And we go h5, and we go bishop h5. Then they castle. Yeah, this maybe isn't the best move, but it's not really easy at this point. Like, yes, we can go bishop d2, we can go knight g3. I think knight g3 is maybe a little bit easier to see. Idea is, of course, we're losing like a good pawn structure here. Like you go knight d4. Oh no, we are just losing a flat pawn there then, so we wouldn't go knight g3. That's why we don't go knight g3. We'd probably go bishop d2. Not good, but we're not losing a flat pawn right away. Yeah. But after this, basically they have one really good move in a series of other okay moves. They have f5, basically threatening this knight. We have bishop e7 developing and showing flexibility. And that's why I really liked bishop c5 at just a glance, right? If you just see it at a glance, I think black shows a strength and a bad habit here. I think they show a strength, and they know that you need to be playing flexible, that you need to play where, hey, you don't know what side I'm going to castle, and you don't know how I'm going to be continuing the middle game here, right? But it just doesn't work here. And the main reason is because of one really good move, and I thought this was a strength that white shows a lot, is they have really good resilience. If you give them an inch, they will go a mile. And white plays the best and only great move, c4. And basically, we get one line where basically white gets down a piece, but there's 3 pieces hanging, and we're going to get 2. And after bishop take f3, we take the queen, they take the queen. Right here, this is, I would put this as a thumbnail if I could, I think, with this. But basically, 3 pieces are hanging, we're down a piece, and there's no way for them to not lose 2 here. And I think that's really cool. Basically, we go dxc6, which is the cleanest line. They go bishop a4, go cx b7. This is still hanging. This is also hanging, and there's just too much hanging here. If we look at other lines here, just to look at, if they go like, I don't know, let's say we go rook x d1, we're still winning in that they really have no way to prevent both these from hanging. And there's just basically multiple ways to win it at this point. Bishop take f3. So if we look at here, maybe there's a different way to play it after c4. You can't really go here or here. If you go queen d8, we're just going to take on c5, right? We're just up at bishop. But maybe we can say that queens are still on the board and be able to play this, but it's very hard for black to try to play this down a piece. But if we go into this line, I think this line is definitely worse to go in, and that queens are off the board. There's less swindle or like ways that white can mess up the conversion. But white finds, the best moves, dxc6, bishop a4, cx b7, and then knight c5. And it's very clinical from here. After bishop c6, bishop e3, castle, knight e6, b3, rook f d1, rook d6, d4, just opening up, trying to trade off. Very well played. Take, knight b5, knight takes c7. And here the notation kind of got messed up, like right here. Because for some reason in the notation it says like rook b5 and then rook take d4, which literally is physically impossible. So I stopped the game here. But white, I know, did win this and will play it from both. And we'll go over the other 6 games when I see you guys on Thursday. And well played by both of you guys, all 3 of you. And I hope you guys have a good weekend, and coach out.